Well, it does. It goes along. Your purchasing dollar goes a long way. There's a lot to be said for quality of life, and that's kind of a catchphrase, that people talk about. But things like an average 18-minute commute.
Yeah.
Right? That's a pretty big deal. Because I know when I lived in Dallas, it was 17 miles. I drove it every day, right? Yeah. 17 miles from my driveway to my, $350 a month parking spot in the garage.
Wow.
Right? 17 miles. At least an hour each way. At least. So an average 18-minute commute, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
The way that the pricing structures work and just property tax.
Yeah.
Property tax here is nothing.
Right.
Compared, what we pay on 13 acres is less than we paid on a quarter-acre lot a month, and we pay that a year. Yeah. So it's just it's a different baseline, really.
Yeah. Let's talk about the schools, because that's one of the things that really attracts a lot of people moving to Madison, which is the main suburb of Huntsville, but also Owens Crossroads, Meridianville, right. Hazel Green. Madison has one of the top school systems in the state.
Yep.
And with the year that my youngest daughter Sierra graduated, they had like 70% of the graduating class was going to college.
Right.
It's incredible. But now you're seeing the same quality of school system in Owens Crossroads, Hazel Green, even Hartselle.
Right.
So the schools in North Alabama are not only tops in the state, they're in the top percentage in the country.
Well, this higher than average density of well-educated engineers, for example, is demanding a higher level of educational opportunity for their kids. Yeah. And we were joking about it. You had 30 some. I had 62 people in my graduating class. Between us, we might have had 100.
Yeah, yeah.
That was kind of Stone Age, time frame.
It was a few years ago, yeah.
My youngest daughter graduated from the same high school that I went to, and she had, 200 or 300. I don't know what Bob Jones or
Bob Jones. I think the year that my youngest daughter graduated, and this was 6 years ago, had something like 800.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But
they've split it off into multiple schools now.
Our oldest daughter graduated from high school in Dallas. Her graduating class had 2,600.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So, when you look at that. Our youngest daughter, when she was enrolling in school here, she sent me a text and said, "Dad, there's only like 700 kids total in this.
There's nobody here." Yeah,
right. And that affords you some pretty great opportunities, education-wise, where the teachers and the staff have an opportunity to work with kids a lot closer than they would in a bigger school.
Let's talk about the higher education, because here in Huntsville, we've got UAH, University of Alabama at Huntsville, one of the top engineering schools in the country.
Yeah.
We've got south of here, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, one of the top business schools, one of the top legal law schools. Yeah. Also have a little football team. Yeah. You might be aware of.
Might have heard of them once or twice.
And then we've got Auburn, who also has a football team, but one of the top veterinary schools in the country. Yeah. And so the opportunities from kindergarten all the way through college are just amazing here.
Well, and I'll point out, yes, we have UAH. We've got Alabama A&M.
We do have Alabama A&M. Yep.
Another university.
We've got junior colleges.
Athens State is, less than 30 minutes away. Calhoun, Drake are some junior colleges. Right. Oakwood College. So there's a ton of opportunity. And when you start looking at where we're located geographically, there's Alabama and Auburn. Nashville is an hour and a half away. Yeah. And Vandy's there. University of Mississippi is not far away.
Then you have the Birmingham schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we don't really care about.
We're talking about Huntsville.
Yeah. But so the point being is there's from the cost of living to the lifestyle, to the housing, to the education. Let's talk about the job market. Because you touched on this. We're both entrepreneurs. And one thing we always talk about is, as this city grows, what kind of opportunities does that present, not just to engineers and scientists and FBI analysts, but to other employees and to entrepreneurs? Because this is your wheelhouse. Talk a little bit about the business and the startup environment here.
Well, when you have 1,800 jobs move into a market, those people come with their family, and they're extended.
They like to eat.
They like to eat. They like to find things to do. Some of those family members have their own business. They bring that with them.
True.
I had a chance yesterday to talk to a young lady who moved here from New York.
New York City.
And brought her business here with her. So that really exists everywhere. But I think one of the things that we have here is an ecosystem that's very open to helping promote and grow your idea into something tangible that you can succeed with.
Yeah, there are like BizTech, a lot of little incubator type thing. And I think one thing that's important to note is the number of companies that were born here that are now major conglomerates. Hudson Alpha, AdTran, any number of defense contractors that started here.
Well, Intergraph, that's now
Intergraph is Hexagon now. Yep.
We have a company here that just a couple of months ago made 100+ new millionaires when they sold.
I wasn't one of them.
No, but neither was I. But that's happened a lot, and it's almost like this little sleeper town where all of this is going on, and we're so busy just going about the work.
Yeah, this really is one of those.
We don't do a good job of promoting ourselves.
This really is one of those towns where you can be behind an old farmer-looking guy at Walmart who's driving a 40-year-old pickup truck but has $1 million in the bank.
Well, a lot of farmers are.
Yep, a lot of land deals going on here. So from an entrepreneurial standpoint, as the city grows and the economy and the population grows, there's a lot more opportunity for entrepreneurs to start businesses.
Yes, and one other thing I'll add is that the city here has done a great job with their Gig City initiative to get fiber everywhere.
Yeah.
And so the barrier to entry into an internet-based business or remote worker type of arrangement is super low.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got great connectivity.
Except for here, in this office.
In your office, there's a Faraday cage or something. But just that effort and putting in the infrastructure.
Well, I think that's the reason Google is here, Facebook is here, Blue Origin, which is Jeff Bezos' company.
Yep.
And I really think that took off when they laid that Google fiber.
Well, they're all on the main line.
Yeah, they're all on the main. So that's very cool. So a lot of opportunities there. One of the things that I hear, and this has been a complaint here for years, is there's nothing to do here. There's no nightlife. You know, that's what the youngsters say. That has changed dramatically over the last few years. Talk about that.
Well, it has. The video talks about one of my favorites, the little brew pubs.
Let's finish watching the video. A lot of outdoor activities here.
I have to tell you, if I knew what I was doing my whole childhood was called hiking, I'd be in
You thought you were just walking around the
we were
woods.
just out for a walk, turning over rocks and chasing snakes and stuff.
One thing I want to note on here, you notice the diversity of the four people that are on this video. It's a black woman, a black guy, a white guy, and then someone who to me looks Middle Eastern maybe.
Could be.
So, and I think they did that on purpose. The FBI's got some pretty smart people. Their marketing showing them that there is that, but that really is very representative of the population here.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up here, and we mentioned that already, and to me, I've never experienced, I don't know, any great degree of conflict.
Yeah,
It's if you show up, you do your work, and you be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Everybody can be happy.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things we talked about before was the stereotype of the South.
Sure.
Backward, racist. We don't wear shoes, we ain't got teeth, and we date our cousins.
Well,
never more than once. That really, now there are pockets, but it's not like that here. The population, because it is so transient, is very, very diverse, and rarely. That's another thing, the crime here.
What crime?
Well, I mean, that's every now and then you'll hear about something, but it is not a heavy crime-laden area.
No, I mean, anybody that's lived in a major metro area understands that they don't report all the crime on the evening news because it's only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And then some of them, they run into an hour now. They just don't have time. They don't report it here because it doesn't happen very often.
Yep.
Now, it does.
Well, there's crime everywhere.
Sure.
But, we do not have the crime rate that you would see in a lot of cities of comparable size.
Right. And again, I think this is the result of intentional focus on developing areas where it's comfortable and safe and attracts the kind of crowd that want to be there and have a good time.
And I think that the city of Huntsville has done a really good job of making sure that everyone who lives here has a quality of life. You don't have the rundown, the slums, that sort of thing you'll have in a larger city. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with just the political leaders, the economy, and the population. So